UJA attracts wonderful, wonderfully talented people.
I love it.
Diverse, talented people.
This was never a labor for me.
It was my life.
It was always a joy.
At the end of the day, there's a great sense of accomplishment.
We really do believe that we're forward thinkers, we're willing to make the tough decisions to get there.
Part of the reason why one doesn't decline to take it on is that you have no sense of how demanding the job is until you actually do start doing it.
And for me, it's a family tradition.
Today, when you look backwards, you smile and you're proud.
I have just good memories.
You have people that put their heart and soul into the community.
It's not that we're doing a job, it's a privilege for us, we're serving the community.
I am the earliest of the presidents and chairmen that are still around. I was president, of course, before we Americanized the Federation and created chairman.
In fact, I felt very grateful that me, a newcomer from Montreal, I was here only a few years before I was elected president.
We had a huge battle during 1970-71 about changing not only the name of what was the United Jewish Welfare Fund, but also the circumstances and its actual setup.
And I said, you know, this is kind of community work where the communities are so reunited.
I was the first president of the Jewish Federation of Greater Toronto, which was really a dramatic change in names and attitude. I decided that it was my job to get the community tuned into Jewish Federation of Greater Toronto, and to do that, I approached the synagogues.
The two major issues, I guess, that came up during my presidency was the purchase of the cemetery, Bar Shalom, and the merger with Canadian Jewish Congress.
I was the first president to get all the rabbis, Reform, Orthodox, Conservative, to sit down in meetings. And even to get Reform, Orthodox, Conservative rabbis to go on a mission to Israel together. My father was UJA chairman, I was UJA chairman, and guess what? The tradition carries on. My son's in Calgary, he's been UJA chairman 2 years in a row.
During my time as a leader, high school education exploded. Day schools, multiple locations, USDS, Beth Tzedek, Beth Tikva, up in Richmond Hill, associated, and the proliferation of new schools.
1989, the fall of the Soviet Union, opening up of Russians coming here, and Operation Exodus, that we brought a lot of people here.
Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated, and it was a Saturday night. I remember it clearly because the next day was Super Sunday. And we had a lot of dilemmas as to would we go ahead with this or not. And it became a very focal point for our Israel diaspora connection.
I was chair or president then from 97 to 99, which included, of course, Israel at 50 year, which was a massive months-long celebration in Toronto.
And it was several donors who were incredibly, incredibly concerned about what was going on in one campus in Toronto, and which of course, as it turns out, it was prescient in terms of the way it spread, but how the early anti-Israel, ultimately anti-Semitic activity on campus. And it was just a few donors who created the impetus for CJA to be created.
We had purchased 50 acres of land up north, and it was farmland. I mean, there was nothing there. And we were selling a dream about having to serve the community of 60,000 plus Jews north of Steeles. How can you not think about all of that and be tremendously proud for our community?
I'll never forget the time when we decided to have a rally, not in one area because there was just too many people, but in 3 areas with a live feed from a part of Israel where there was shelling taking place at that particular time.
We had very close cooperation always with Campaign. Campaign was now working very closely with the Federation, understanding our needs as against simply going out and raising money.
It was 2008, and I wouldn't call it an issue, it was a big challenge. It was changes in the financial times, changes that when they occurred, sometimes it takes a little while to realize just how it's going to affect you.
The Bova campus was part of a dream of 10 years earlier, and it really came to fruition.
We had some deficits we had to take care of, and we just did. We brought everyone together, lay leaders, staff people, and developed a plan of action. We dramatically reduced the deficit and put the Federation back on very strong financial standing.
There was a perception externally as to how successful this community is, how important Federation is to this community, how we are really at the forefront of Federation successes in large communities across North America.
Times change, goals change, and what I see happening is that Federation needs to continually evolve. I mean, the three of us...
we're old now. You know, not you.
Not you. Not you, but we may not be as young as we used to be, but there's a whole new generation coming in, and we need to make sure that we are as relevant to them.
At the end of it all, we do need the next generation, because if we don't have the next generation engaged, involved, and speaking their mind and creating the Federation that they want, then the Federation will never survive.
You're part of a team that over time gets to make change and gets to make sure that the most vulnerable in our community are taken care of.
The only way we know if we've done a good job is when we leave and we look out and we say our goodbyes, if we feel we truly have left the community in a much better place than we found it in. And I honestly believe the three of us can say, as all those who came before us, since us, that's how we look at it. What can we do to improve a great community?